Good evening. This is Brenda DeRay with FabOILous Workshop for May. Joined here with my beautiful three friends, Amy, Renee, and Paula. We take this time to talk about different oils that we've all pulled. And we're trying to pick the ones that aren't used all the time, because most of us have oils just sitting around and don't always know what to do with them or what they're for. So this month we are on G and H. Had to think about that real quick. And we just, each one of us picked one of those that we've had some experience with. So let's get started. I get to start today. Woohoo! I'm so excited. I'm going to be talking about geranium. Now we all laugh because when you're not used to this one, it smells like the plastic flowers from your grandma at the beginning. Now it smells beautiful. It doesn't smell to me like the geraniums that we grow outside. It's got a completely different tone to it. So just know that when you open it, it might not be your favorite at first, but there's reasons for that. As we all know, you know, we dive into all of these other books, and us ladies all have different guides that we use. A lot of us use the Essential Emotions book. That light is reflecting, sorry. And I absolutely love it. It's quick, it's to the point. But another great reference for the emotions part of it that a lot of people might not be aware of is, and she's changed her name, so you might know her as Desiree Mangdendog, I think is how you say it. It's always kind of tongue twister for me. She's changed her name to Desiree de Luna. And it's called The Elements of Emotions. And she kind of goes a little bit deeper. She is an emotions guru, if you've never heard of her. Done a lot of her classes and workshops, and they're really awesome. So the spirit of geranium teaches us to open back up to love. Her sweet nature softens the heart and makes us reconsider the distrust and harsh skepticism we have been holding towards humanity. After repeated heartbreaks over the years, it is only natural to develop a thick heart wall to protect ourselves from further damage. Geranium plays a critical role in our recovery from this trauma and gives the heart room to breathe and feel safe once again. It teaches us the art of receiving love, helping, healing, kindness, and support. For a complete life experience with health, harmony alike, the art of receiving must be practiced and mastered. It softens and releases resentment from the liver so that the heart has an opportunity to surrender the pain, which I didn't really realize until I was reading her book, how much it really can affect the liver, which I thought was pretty awesome. The liver has a tendency to hold on to grudges and further binds the heart into those protective walls. Unfortunately, this becomes a pathological protection, and every person becomes a perpetrator. So if you're having those heart issues or some love traumas, this is a phenomenal oil for that, to help you release it. And then we go to, you know, one of our other handy dandy books. This is the Essential Life book. There's aroma tools. There's, you know, sorry, thought I had that a little bit more organized. Modern Essentials, which is by Aroma Tools. You know, we have them, we get them every year after convention that have the new oils in them. If you don't have a new one, it's okay, because these oils are all in this book because they're tried and true and used throughout ages. So the cool thing about geranium in this, you know, of course, I open it up and it says liver right there. It's like, okay, that must I never needed to know that before, right? So now that the liver keeps popping at me, it's like, okay, I need to pay attention to this. What's it saying? I use that intuitive. I try to listen to my intuition a little bit more when I'm reading things and what pops out at me. Low libido, dry or oily hair. It helps you kind of balance that out, which is awesome. Body odor. Put it in your armpits if you need to. Make sure you've got some fractionated coconut oil, because everybody kind of reacts a little differently, especially with the armpits. And another emotional balancing. It's a detoxifier, regenerative, anti-allergen. And it's pretty cool because it's found in a couple of our other oils as well as the Clary Calm, which we talked about before, Zendocrine, which we'll talk about down the road, and the Align, which is in the yoga collection. So those are some really, and if you think about it, it helps align everything. It helps align the heart and the whole body. So that is my geranium. I love it. I've been using it a lot more because now it's smelling sweeter and sweeter to me instead of like plastic flowers that have been in the heat too long. So yeah, so I have no idea what I did to my paper. Miss Renee is up next. And have at it, Renee. I'd love to introduce what you're doing, but my paper has flown away somewhere and I have no idea what that is.
I'm doing ginger. All right, guys. So ginger is kind of one of those oils that I've really grown to love because it's a oil of digestion more than anything that I kind of put my 2 cents around this one. So I'm not a big black licorice fan, and that's what fennel is. That's what has digestin in, which I love. I love digestin 100%. But if you just don't like the digestin smell, ginger is going to be your friend. So this helps with nausea. It helps with digestion. There's so many uses you can actually use with it. You can actually use it for cooking, your flavoring. I actually do simmer pots on top of my diffusers. So I slice up oranges and grapefruit, and then I put ginger in it and I put it in a small crock pot, and it just simmers throughout the whole house, and I love it. I change it up in all the seasons, but ginger is one that I use for the simmer pot as well. But let's dive into, I have the Modern Essential books, and yes, this is an older version. See, and Brenda said you can have any version. This is the older one. So as I said, it helps ease occasional indigestion and nausea, promotes digestion, supports overall digestion, health. So obviously that's a lot what you goes into your digestive system. And then on the other side of it, it also, this was really popped out to me, ginger may be used for alcoholism, loss of appetite, arthritis, broken bones, chills, cold, colic, coughs, cramps, and fevers. So that was a whole nother realm that opened up to me on all these possibilities. So how do you use it? So you can diffuse it, as I said, or you can put it in a roller bottle if you want to roll it to hip over for your digestive system, or you can just put it right around your belly button, and help with that. What we really have, and I'm sorry I'm out of them because I actually brought them to my office, but my boss loves the ginger drops. We also have the ginger drops, and I'm sure Amy's going to run and go get some right now, but we live on those at the office. There you go. I have them in my purse. I have them everywhere. I love them. They just, when you eat a little bit too much or eat a little bit too much spice, pop in a ginger and it really settles the stomach. So there's my definition of how I use ginger, and you can even, you can use it topically, you can ingest it and you can diffuse it. So there's my little update on ginger.
Right. For those of you guys that are joining us too, don't hesitate to comment on the post of this. We're putting little other tidbits in the chat room of this video too, of some really great other tips and tricks that others of us use on some of the other oils too. So I get to talk to you right now about this. Seriously has become one of my favorites. It's a newer oil for those of you that have been around for a while. This is green mandarin, and it is another citrus oil. So you got a plethora of citrus oils to choose from. And with that, remember, there is the UV tendency. If we, like Paula always says, put it where the sun don't shine, because we don't want it, to be impacted and cause sunburn or anything like that with the sensitivity from the citrus oils. But it is one that you are going to want to use almost every day, if I can be 100% honest. I just like it because it seriously, it just smelling it, it just makes me smile. Yeah, it's just so yummy. Okay, so I'm going to cover the basics physically of this one. Another one that you could pair with ginger that helps with nausea. So if you have somebody who maybe is dealing with a little bit of morning sickness, or maybe gets car sick, green mandarin and ginger together. Maybe you have a young one and they don't really like the smell of ginger. Pair it with green mandarin, it sweetens it up a little bit. It's also very calming, really good for the skin. Ironic that you still have the UV aspect of it, but it is really good for the skin toning. Like, so if you're trying to tone and get even skin tone, it is really good. Just do it at night before you go to bed, and not when you're going to be out in the sun. It is also an anti-inflammatory, antiviral, which most of the oils are, which I love. So if we're using them all the time, it helps with the digestive system. We talked about the nausea, but we also have the benefit of this one being a little bit of a laxative too. So if you're feeling a little constipated, it has laxative properties. It is also an expectorant. Okay, so putting it on the chest, you're going to have that loosening up of the mucus, which most of the citrus oils kind of do because they break up that mucus. So we like that with lemon oil too, but green mandarin is another great one to do with that too. A lot of people use breathe and lime together, but you could change it up and add in green mandarin. So it also is really good for circulation. So if you are dealing with something in the blood area, and you need some support with circulation, this is another one that you can use. Again, you can use it topically with no dilution really, but definitely apply it to the area of concern, but definitely avoid UV light for up to 12 hours. Diffusing it is brilliant. Or you could take it in a capsule or add it in your tea in the morning, add a drop, or use it to flavor in cookies. So that was from my Modern Essentials book, but here's where I really like it. Yeah. You guys know me now too well. Green mandarin is the oil of pure potential. Pure potential. So this helps you to really become the best version of you and reach your best pure potential. It helps you, if you don't know what that is, it helps you find it. Okay, so let's dig a little. If you are feeling maybe a little trapped, stuck, right? Fearful, you really doubt that you could take that next step in a career move or in a jump into another aspect of your life. Maybe you're thinking about starting your own business and you just don't think you got the chops to do it. Green mandarin is going to show you that you can, and you have that inside. It is also helps if you're feeling really burdened or really limited or encumbered, really heavy. It's going to help you feel really light and energetic and feel like a lot of things are more open to you, right? In adulthood, we tend to lose that childish idea of possibilities and imagination. And we really kind of start to feel a lot more trapped and limited by belief systems that maybe we're told that to us that exist, right? This oil reminds us that we have direct access to our pure potential. And there are so many open opportunities, and this encourages us to really experience the joy and never stop becoming, never stop improving yourself, never stop dreaming, never, just like complete expansion in that way. So let me see, one other thing I wanted to add. It reminds that wonder and hope are food for the soul, and imparts an exuberance for fully living life. So if you really feel like you're kind of just not living out the best life you could, throw some green mandarin into your day. Start putting it in the bath. Start putting it in your after bath, like putting it on, throw it in your tea. Like just start throwing it around. It is really good no matter how, where, when you use it. And you are going to love the feeling of wonder, of hopefulness, of innocence and delight that it brings to you from consistent use. So that is my little thing on green mandarin. I'm going to pass it to Miss Paula, who's going to share with us her helichrysum, another brilliant oil.
Hey, everybody. So glad you're here. I love us getting together. I learned so much from the other three on the call. Woo! So helichrysum. Who's tried helichrysum? I love them both. I love them in the touch and I love them in the original. I will say one little tidbit about geranium that I learned a long time ago was if this is a little out of your reach, get the geranium because it's the poor man's helichrysum. So keep that in your brain when I'm talking about helichrysum, okay? First, I got to tell you, it's liquid stitches. It should be in everybody's first aid kit, period. But I'm going to show you a picture of what happened today when I was walking my daggum dogs. One got excited and I don't know how well, can you see that? All the way down my abdomen, that big, nasty. So guess what? Helichrysum to the rescue. It stopped the bleeding immediately. And I put it on a few times a day. Guess what's going to happen? I'm not going to get all that nasty green and brown and yellow bruising. That's not going to be there because this stops the bleeding even under the skin. It's fantastic stuff. If you didn't know that, I will tell you, I finally got my new book and I did not know how beautiful helichrysum flowers are. Look at those. They're gorgeous. And I'm drawn to things that are pretty. So, you know, I'm a girl. What do you want from me? All right, let's talk a little helichrysum here. Like I said, top uses, right? Bleeding, nosebleeds, bleeding, broken capillaries, phlebitis, hematoma, stroke. But what I didn't know, let's talk liver again. You having liver issues? Rub it over your liver. I love how our oils all seem to tie in when we're talking about them. People who have scarring, rather it's like 20 years ago, you got a scar on your lip from a bicycle ride or whatever, or a really recent skin tag or something. This is great for scarring. There's a few others too, but just keep that in mind. It's also good for alcohol addiction and cirrhosis. Who else mentioned that today? Was it Renee that mentioned that today? Yeah. Varicose veins, wrinkles, age spots. I have so many friends with age spots. Now they can very happily just spend their little bit of money on this little touch, roll it on those age spots, be very consistent and watch those lighten up. Tennis elbow, nerve damage. Like really, if you have nerve pain, this is one of the ones, like if you do layering of, let's think about this, helichrysum, Siberian fir, and frankincense is amazing for nerve pains. Keep that in mind. What about deep emotional wounds? Got some emotional stuff going on, rub it over your heart. Sinus infections, who would have thought that for helichrysum? I did not even know that. So put it right over your sinus cavities. And remember, if you get it too close to your eyes, just close them for a few minutes because those fumes will get you. Eczema that's caused from emotions, not from what you eat, but from emotions. So keep that in mind too. We might have to do a little emotions class later. Boils, back pain, tinnitus, earache, vertigo. I will tell you a story about helichrysum and vertigo. I met a fella who has tried everything ever imaginable. He's done acupuncture. He's been to holistic doctors. He's taken medications and all that. Literally rolled this around behind his ear, in his ear, followed with geranium because I read about it in both of them. So we did both. And those are the only two oils that man ever gets from me. And it literally takes care of that for him. So that's awesome. The tinnitus and the vertigo takes care of both. I hate to tell you this, not really. I like to tell you this. It's for viruses. So spleen issues, staph, herpes, you know, cold sores are also a herpes virus. Any little viruses like that, break out your helichrysum. It's fantastic stuff. And of course, being one of the girls, you get to hear about the emotional side. Helichrysum's an amazing healer for emotional pain. It aids the walking wounded, those with a history of difficult life circumstances, trauma, self-destruction, loss, or abuse. So rather something happened to you by yourself or by someone else. This is your oil, right? Restores confidence in life and in yourself. Helichrysum has powerful relationship with the light of the sun. So it imbues joy, hope for living. It takes basically people that are hurt in their soul and holds their hand and loves their heart and helps lift them up, if that makes sense. Helps them to see that if they had not been wounded, they would not have sought healing that resulted in spiritual rebirth, right? You gotta break it down first and then build it back up. So helichrysum is just, I have to say, one of the most amazing oils out there. And I absolutely, absolutely love it. So first aid kits, get it in there. Emotional kits, get it in there. You're going to want it on both ends. All right, back to the beautiful Amy.
That was so freaking awesome. Every one of these oils that has been talked about, can I just 100% say that I have used it within the last 2 to 3 days. I mean, there's no reason why we can't be putting our oils on daily, multiple times a day, and using oils outside of what we normally do, because all they do is benefit and support our body in ways that we don't even understand, but we know that it's doing it because the body's freaking brilliant. So thank you so much for joining us for our May workshop. We're doing A to Z in 2022 with the oils, right? So we just wrapped up G&H. We are going to continue on in June. Join us. We will be doing I, J, and we could possibly talk about K. There isn't really any oils that start with K, but there was one that came out a long time ago. So kind of curious to see if anybody knows what it was. So have a great night and enjoy and bust out. Oh yes, Paula says, I forgot helichrysum works for chest mucus too, which we talked about with the green mandarin. See, everything overlaps. Love it, love it, love it. Can't go wrong. So definitely join us for June. We're super excited to see you guys, and have a great rest of the month.